Accept.
See? See?
So I can see him better. He doesn't mind showing his You're so arrogant.
Because I'm not wearing my work jersey today.
I like
Every single sport, we will be watching you.
Welcome inside the locker room. Love music, love life.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. You're tuned into Smooth 98.1 Smooth Breakfast with me, Valentine Ohu. It is Friday the 13th of March 2020. Welcome to the Locker Room 981. It's time for us to go into sports stories. You're going to be hearing a lot of coronavirus, I promise you that. But in good ways and bad ways, a lot of games stopped or postponed, and some people who don't expect to catch it now catching or testing positive. But please be safe out there. In the meantime, to share your concerns about certain stories that you hear or to contribute to the show, generally send a message to WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. The hashtag is LockerRoom981. I'm streaming live on YouTube. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm sulking.
What else is news? Sky blue. And good morning, Tokwe.
Good morning. Friday the 13th, always eerie. Maybe that's why coronavirus is all over the news.
That's
Oh,
not
God,
what
yeah,
it is.
oh.
No.
Surely not. Good morning.
Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Lagos, remember to use that hashtag LockerRoom981. Having discussed at length with NBA owners whether to take the hiatus due to safety concerns because of coronavirus, Commissioner Adam Silver said on Thursday that he opted a second to suspend after canceling the Utah Jazz Oklahoma City Thunder game Wednesday night, following the Rudy Gobert's a positive test for COVID-19. In his words, Silva was quoted as saying, "Of course, the issue becomes now. What we determined today is that the hiatus will be most likely at least 30 days, and we do not know enough to be more specific than that. But we wanted to give direction to our players and teams and fans that this is going to be roughly at least a month."
Yes, so in case you have been under a rock, coronavirus has taken over. And so most people are anticipating that by April, when the weather gets warmer, it will get. But what it is that the NBA has taken a break, and they're saying it's going to last for as long as 30 days. But the bigger issue here was Rudy Gobert's reaction or behavior towards the COVID-19. So earlier he had been in contact with somebody who had the virus, and so reporters were asking him, has he taken his test? Was it negative? Was it positive? And the guy started joking around with it and started touching everything.
What?
So started touching the mics in
Really?
the press room, touching the table. Then he went into the locker room and started touching everything. Newsflash: a few days later, another of his teammates, Donovan Mitchell, for the coronavirus. So he at the time he was touching everything, he didn't know he hadn't gotten any positive results on his test. But after he had left the place, that's when they found out that his test result came out and he was positive. But by then he had already been silly and irresponsible and was touching everything. So now he goes into the locker room and touches, and then a few days later his teammate now test positive for it. So yes, people are very upset. His teammate came out and said, hopefully this will teach us to be a little more responsible. He's come out with his apology. If I were the NBA, I will come out with his suspension. That was just irresponsible, and there's no discussion about it.
Like, what are you, 5?
You know,
I needed to see the clip. He was actually acting like a 5-year-old child.
my sentiments exactly. Just fooling around with this thing, and then somebody tests positive, and now it's suddenly shocking to him. It has hit home to him, and it's the kind of reaction people had. I mean, when it started, it didn't come close to a lot of people. So everybody, for a lot of people, it was not real. And so they used to joke about it. Oh, somebody coughs on the plane, you have some comment about it. Somebody does something, you have another racist reaction to it. He had a 5-year-old tantrum about it, and now his teammates has caught it. Now he's apologizing and trying to be responsible. After the NBA break is over, I'm suspending him if I were in charge, but I'm taking on Ojaifin. They may just take his apology and move on with it. But that was very, very immature and irresponsible of him. So what that's meant now is his teammate has tested positive. We don't know who his teammate came in contact with. So there's still an unfolding number of events. He's isolated himself after the results, but you know how it is. Before you can also transmit the virus even if you're not showing symptoms yet. And there's this report that on harder surfaces, the virus can last for as long as 3 days. So again, you don't know how the extent of his behavior. But what is that he's come out to apologize, his teammates come out to speak on it. Hopefully, like I said, if I were the NBA, I'm suspending him. Go home and think about what you did.
All right. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can use that to leave your comments as well as you watch. And subscribe. Very important that you subscribe to our channel. Formula One has called off Sunday's Australian Grand Prix, the opening race of its 2020 season, after a McLaren team member tested positive for coronavirus yesterday evening. McLaren's withdrawal was followed by meetings between F1 bosses, teams and race organizers about the status of the event. Now, despite reports saying that the race was due to be cancelled, there was no statement from Formula One until Friday morning. The Melbourne race was supposed to be the opening event of the 2020 season. At the start of the week, race chiefs insisted it was going ahead as usual, fully open to spectators, although precautionary measures were being taken.
Yes.
Where does it stand now?
So you know how F1 is. They're going to have all those. First of all, they're going to have the photo op, so you come out with the drivers, and then they were going to have all those people before the race on the racetrack and all the interviews. They said it was going to go on as normal, apart from the fact that the screening into those areas we're going to be a lot more. However, okay, so first of all, team has had 4 people that started showing symptoms, well, that had mild fever, that were sneezing, and they came in like that. So it's not like they picked up the fever in Australia. They came in like that. But there were tests conducted, and some they were negative. But they had already started showing these symptoms, and so some drivers were already skeptical, like, why is that guy sneezing around all of us? But the test came out negative. They tested everybody on the team, so far negative. And everybody was saying, okay, the race is going to go on as planned. People like Lewis Hamilton that have serious OCD did not even want to leave their hotel room, but they had to based on things that they had to do. And then McLaren pulls out of the race and says one of their team members tested positive for the virus, and they were all in contact with him, so they all had to be quarantined. So they pulled out of the race. And the minute they pulled out of the race, it now brought up the discussion of, should we go ahead with the race? There were some team principals that said, let's race. We don't have anything. Yes, we've all done tests. There are no symptoms. We can race. If McLaren doesn't want to race, they should forfeit their points. There were team principals that are ready to go ahead. Like, this is a competition. It's not like we're best friends holding hands and singing Kumbaya. They wanted to go on with the race.
I don't feel like it was because of Lewis Hamilton's statement that actually made them rethink it. Because how on earth are we still?
I don't think so. Hamilton doesn't. Hamilton doesn't have that kind of power. He thinks he does. He doesn't. He doesn't remotely. He was saying, it's all about cash. Everybody was like, oh yeah, drop your cash now. Okay. you can pull out, Shebi. You know, you don't have to pull us out with you. So if he wanted to make a bigger statement, should have pulled out. But he didn't. So some team principals wanted to go ahead. Now they're not revealing the name of the team principals, but I'm suspecting who some of those team principals were, the people that have the money to win. They were the ones that saying, look, let's go ahead. It's not like McLaren was going to win the race anyways. But at the end of the day, after the meeting, the emergency meeting that was convened, it was decided that look, the race couldn't hold, so everybody fly back to your different places, and then we'll see how the spread is, and then we'll come back in. So yes, the Grand Prix was cancelled before practice sessions even started. At this point in time, thank God I started watching Z World earlier. I will have something to watch. It's people like you that only watch sports
Oh my gosh.
that will suffer. Z World and Telemundo.
Lekon Drogba says on YouTube, why has the Premier League not suspended the league? Health is more important than football.
We'll get to that.
All right, we have more messages on WhatsApp. This one is from Zizi Classic. It says that NBA player deserves ban, in my opinion. The one that was just touching
Yeah,
us.
really go back here.
All right, now Megan Rapinoe says that the U.S. women's national team don't buy the apology from the United States soccer president Carlos Cordero for the pain and offense caused by language used in a lawsuit over equal pay. In a statement on Wednesday, Cordero said, quote, I sincerely apologize for the offense and pain caused by language in this week's court filing, which did not reflect the values of our federation. I've made it clear to our legal team that even as we debate facts and figures in the course of this case, we must do so with utmost respect, end quote. Ballon d'Or winner Rapinoe, who scored the opening goal against Japan, said after the game, quote, that statement wasn't for us. That was for fans, for the media, for sponsors, because that all sounded pretty similar to what we've heard before.
Okay. First of all, let me say this. US won the She Believes Cup. Congratulations. They defeated Japan by 3-1. However, that was largely overshadowed from the semi-final by a revelation of the US association's filing on equal pay with men and women. So apparently, the US was not refusing to pay women equal pay as the men because, according to them, of revenue brought in. They were refusing to pay women the same pay as men because they believed women were less skilled and they were doing less work. So
Wow.
yes.
How did they rationalize that?
Thank you. So the most sexist wording, and for me, it's one thing to think it, it's another thing to write it in your filing. And so it was a mindset that the players have been saying that, look, people don't want to pay. It's not a question of revenue, because if we start looking at revenue, US women have started bringing in a lot of money because we actually do win. The men don't win. They didn't even go to their last World Cup. So let's not even have that conversation. But it was no longer a question of revenue now. I thought that women, when it comes to football, the women are less skilled and they do less work. So according to them, the US men's team play with their counterparts that are from Europe and South America. They're a little more skilled, as opposed to US women who are now superior to the rest of the world. As if it's the US women's fault that they are superior to the rest of the world. Anyway, bottom line, that's why they're not giving them equal pay. So it was revealed, and there's been a lot of people calling for the president, Carlos Cadero's head. And even some of their sponsors came out to say that, look, we don't believe in this. We believe in equal rights and equal opportunity. And this was just that it's one thing to mention revenue and figures. It's another thing to say they are less skilled because it's women's football. And so he had no choice. For the first time, Cadero came out to speak, to apologize, because now his money was touched because the sponsors were speaking out. So my Rapinoe is like, I'm not believing this, your PR. You did this because this is what you believe. All of you need to leave, and then we can start this discussion all over again. So yes, he's in hot water. It's sad that US women are continuing their dominance in the world, but the news is overshadowed by filing that the president made. So yeah, even I am not accepting the apology. Even if he did apologize to me, I'm not.
Now he's worried about his money.
Now he's worried about his money.
Interesting there. Kasim says Tega and Telemundo does not seem to go together. Tega Tiger watches Telemundo. Wow.
Kasim, this is not the first time you've sent a message. You only sent the message because of Telemundo.
I think that got his attention. We'll keep your attention, please, here. Locker Room 91, still smooth 98.1. Right after this, we'll be back with more stories.
Okay, so the next story is and that's all. I'm not talking again. Of course, I'm on holiday. I got the reaction. It seems as if those people are dancing to this song.
I know.
See now.
Imagine they use this for their ads. Come on.
Have you seen it? Oh, it really matched. I am hungry. What am I going to eat? I'm telling you. But they don't do it in Lagos. I need Folu's Netflix code. Folu used to be my friend. I hope she has paid. I just want to watch a lot of series today because there's no.
Man, I'm so happy it's Friday. Are you happy it's Friday? Like, it's so exciting that
Yeah,
it's
did
Friday.
I just mention I'm borrowing Folu's code?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm paying for my own.
Oh, please. The first thing you said came from your heart. This next one is the
This
one.
is my PR. This is my Cadero PR.
Like in the sharp. Who does it better?
Let me see.
Breakfast. We'll just take this picture. No. And then I sent her from the camera.
You guys are just rude.
I don't understand.
We do our thing.
We do our thing, man.
Valentine, you want shortbread?
Not that one.
No, not that one.
Yes.
This one.
Yes.
Because I don't want to keep it till
Yes.
No,
Thank
Why
you.
didn't you ask me?
because Valentine has been on the show since Monday. He deserves some.
Thank
Who
you.
cares?
Cookies.
She
He's
does.
not doing his work. Can't they pay his salary? Look.
I did not pay his salary.
No. Don't try me. Me that I had 1 week of holiday. I came back quickly.
Like,
My life is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Look, if I'm not outside the country, it's not a vacation.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, and I can't be going outside now. Can't go and be buying trouble.
Oh, Valentine.
Yes.
Contact. I tried coming to you.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll talk to the PR person.
We don't care about her. What did she sing? Who is that? Oh, so who's she? I beg, travel.
You know that's our Smooth FM, you know,
Smooth FM what?
vibe.
Ambassador.
I beg, should travel.
Vibe.
I'm not like this. I'm just hungry. I'm a very nice, sweet person. I'm just hungry.
Just send us chicken wings, huh?
If you send me chicken wings, I'll be better behaved.
Man, God knows that if I didn't go to the gym yesterday, I wouldn't have gone today. The way I'm feeling right now. Sleep.
Oh, I've been gymming in my house. My generator key has spoiled. No, they're not spoiled. The battery is now dead.
So you're pulling
Oh,
it.
wait.
So I'm not
wow.
pulling it. So my shoulder is.
Isn't it so cool? I feel like you and I can actually use the same gym, what's it called? The same membership.
How?
Because I was asking for somebody's Netflix.
Why?
Just give me your password.
So you go there and then
and then I'll
swipe
log
and
myself
scan.
in.
Well done.
And then I'll scan.
Please, we're back. I don't do things like that. It's so good to know you're still there listening to us on Smooth 98.1. Fantastic show it is. Of course, on sports, Locker Room 981 is there. The hashtag is Locker Room 981 on Twitter at Smooth 981FM. WhatsApp number is 0809 444 981. Tega Supreme, Tipsy Cole, or Tokwe Cole. Good morning. Messages. Kasim, thank you very much for that. Big T says Liverpool is about to win the league. It last won a donkey years ago. Suddenly, Manchester United supports postponing the league on health grounds.
Yeah.
Do you smell a red devilish rat?
Yes, sir.
Big T is asking. And Tyra from Eba says, just after International Women's Day, you do such.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
boy.
such a blunder
So
for.
now, wow, no banter today. Yeah? The Wuhan virus, still COVID-19 has spoiled the fun. Let's move on to the next one. It's still really highlighting the disease around the world. Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta has tested positive for coronavirus, and their Premier League match against Brighton on Saturday has been cancelled. Arteta will now self-isolate in line with government health guidelines and is expected to the first squad, team squad that is, along with coaching staff, will do the same. Arteta said, quote, "This is really disappointing, but I took the test after feeling poorly. I'll be at work as soon as I'm allowed," end quote. Managing Director Vinay said that the health of our people and the wider public is our priority, and that is where our focus is. We're in active dialogue with all the relevant people to manage this situation appropriately, and we look forward to getting back to training and playing as soon as the medical advice allows.
And yes, that particular Arteta news has led the English FA to actually say that they are going to convene today to decide if the English Premier League matches should go ahead. Because prior to that Arteta news, they came out to say that all the matches were going to go ahead as planned. But the Arteta news has made them rethink. First of all, it's sure that Arsenal's game against Brighton is not going to hold. Will the others hold? Is what we're waiting to find out. We know Leicester City said 3 players. They didn't disclose which of the 3 players, but 3 of their players have tested positive for the coronavirus. Callum Hudson-Odoi, we woke up to that news this morning, of Chelsea, also has been tested positive. So, well, all hoping that someone like me, an English Premier League lover, is hoping that we'll still be able to salvage some matches to watch. But of course, safety has to come first, and the English Premier League will decide if they're going to join the rest of the world to postpone their matches.
All right. Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk insists that their European exit will not knock the confidence of the Premier League champions-elect. In his words, quote, the Holland captain says, quote, "I think we did everything we could to win the game. We're outstanding for 95 minutes. We're intense. We dominated, won the ball, won a lot of second balls, and put in a lot of work and heart in the challenges. The only thing is we are out of the Champions League, but we're back in on Friday, and then everybody has to be ready for another intense game, and we'll be."
Great analysis, actually. They were outstanding for 95 minutes. Where they stopped being outstanding was in extra time, because Diego Simeone, the opposition boss, did some terrific substitutions, brought in Alvaro Morata and brought in the Loriente guy who they brought from Real Madrid, and they did the business for Atletico Madrid. A lot of people like Michael Owen have come out to say that Liverpool were outstanding and there was nothing outstanding about what Atletico did, that they packed the bus. How can you pack the bus and you still outscored Liverpool in their very own living room? It's excuses to me. Jurgen Klopp also, we talked about it on Wednesday, him being a sad loser, a bad loser and all that. But there's no way Liverpool, you can take away from Liverpool's shine and what they've achieved today, this season. The thing is, if the English Premier League should end at all, because a lot of people are already saying the English Premier League might be postponed or might be suspended, and that Liverpool have waited 30 years to win this trophy, I don't want to believe that they are just going to swat their efforts that way. One way or the other, they will find a way of compensating, maybe add this season's points to next season's points. I don't know how they're going to resolve it, but Liverpool would definitely have to die there, so they say, to get that particular trophy that they've waited so long for.
And here's what Tayo from Hiatus says. Van Dijk did all the homework and assignments, but didn't submit it. They should stop complaining.
I like Tayo, that thing you said there. The Lord bless you.
And then Chimobi Victor from Alaba International says, Liverpool fans in Jurgen Klopp was shouting to come to Anfield, come to Anfield. Where is this place? Oh? Is this Teslim Balogun Stadium?
Good one.
And Father Unsi from Powerhouse Arena says, sports is supposed to be a unifying factor among all nations. Thank you for that message. Emeka from Amoa says, it was sad hearing Mikel Arteta and Hudson-Odoi testing positive for coronavirus, and the entire Arsenal team is under isolation. And now the Premier League is at risk of getting suspended. Igungo has finally entered Prep Express. I'm not even in the mood to banter this morning. Let's keep our hopes up and just be lively about it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is adamant that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season. When he was asked about the 26-year-old's future following Manchester United's 5-0 Europa League first leg last 16 over LASK, Solskjaer reinstated or reiterated that the player was going nowhere. In his words, Solskjaer said, quote, Paul's our player. He has 2 years left on his contract, a year plus the option of another. You can expect Paul to be here next season. Here, he said, like James Silas.
And yeah, with the way Manchester United have been playing lately, I mean, news broke a couple of days ago that Paul Pogba, who, of course, we all know that wanted to leave Manchester United and the English Premier League in the summer, that he just might be willing to sign another contract because he's looking forward to playing with Bruno Fernandes. We don't know how true that is, but Manchester United are now playing well. I mean, Odion Judigallo scored last night. A wonder goal, actually, not just any kind of goal. Bruno Fernandes actually provided the assist for him. He could even have scored another one. He struck the bar also in that match, but wasn't the case. But Igalo, anytime he starts, he scores. That's the good thing about it. Paul Pogba, maybe he's looking forward to playing alongside Odion Judigallo.
We don't have space anymore.
You don't have space for Paul Pogba.
We don't have space again. We don't have space. All that, you see, let me tell you what it is. Before, he was the big name player, and there were certain things he was doing, and he was throwing himself about. But now you have Bruno Fernandes, who's bossing that midfield. You have Odion Igalo. Again, because of Manchester United is rebuilding, I don't know how signing Odion Igalo long term may come out to be.
Yeah, maybe not long term, but an extra season.
Maybe
you know,
maybe
extra
one.
6
Yeah,
months.
maybe that is it. But they'll certainly get young players. But the thing is, right now, he doesn't have the cards that he had before these players came in. So he's now the one that is going to have to humble himself. All that noise, they're not playing me in my position. He will play any if they gave him goalkeeper now, Papa will take gloves and stand there. That's how it is. No, he has there's no, he doesn't have that anymore.
I feel like he has to prove himself more for him to get that big move that he wants to go to Real Madrid. And so still remaining with Manchester United at least for another year would help him to do that.
Yeah. All right, well, messages on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Subscribe. Breaking news from IK says Arsenal Football Club now wants the English Premier League to be suspended indefinitely this season due to coronavirus and the trophy awarded alphabetically. More details to follow. And Lekon Droba says, by the way, Valentine on TikTok has turned to something else, the other side of Valentine. Yes, that's my alter ego. And he also added, this one, they're suspending all sports. I don't even know what to do again for weekends. Does that mean I will start attending Owambears? Yeah, I guess so.
Owambears, sorry. Someone said Leke Owambears is a good sport.
Yeah, it is. And messages here on WhatsApp. Chinwe Nancy says, human lives and safety should be considered first. But I'm not sure Liverpool and their fans will be happy if the EPL is halted without crowding them as champions. I just pray this pandemic disease be eradicated entirely. EPL should pause for now, though. And then here she asks, Pogba, is he still a Man U player? Taya says Pogba is cherry picking. He's too elitist. Zizi Classic believes that Liverpool will come back stronger in the third leg. And MI thinks that Liverpool went from invincible to treble to double to humble. Next time, never say I'm in my house. Come and beat me. Their goalkeeper did flip the switch. Did the flip the switch challenge with Karas. Shout out to Igalo FC though. My heart is with my coach. Get well soon, boss. Thank you, MI. Emeka says Diego Simeone's team talk. We will leave a pool. That's Liverpool of blood at Anfield. Lawrence died there. Interesting. Shego from Ikorodu said, I'm tired of hearing this Pogba situation. If he wants to leave, he should just tell us. He's not Cristiano Ronaldo, but I'll be glad if he can take his agent-linked brother Lingard. Shego from Ikorodu, we hear you. And Femi says, Liverpool knocked out of UCL by Atletico fans. It's because of Alisson's injury. Jose Mourinho struggles to go without Kane, Son, Sissoko, and Van. Same fans react. Injuries are part of football. Jose is outdated and finished.
Abi, the double standards.
That's right. Yeah.
Liverpool lost one player, and they say it's because of him. Mourinho lost three important players. And they're like, nah, fan injury is part of football.
Imagine that. So it's sad to hear about Arteta and Colin Hudson-Odoi. Wish them both quick recovery. Who's coughing there? Obina Kerecha says, absolutely. Real and Barca won't spend that huge cash on Pogba. So yes, he's loving the salad cream football and wants some badly. Big T says, Pogba, don't be deceived by a World Cup trophy. If they give you ball, boy, you can collect them.
I'm telling you, any role they give you, just take it and play.
And that's just to mention, though, Kylian Mbappe and PSG mimic Erling Braut Haaland's the celebration after beating Dortmund.
Yeah, I think it was really hurtful. So Haaland had this celebration after he scored against PSG in the first leg. Dortmund won that leg by 2-1.
Did the yoga
He
sign.
did the yoga celebration. So after PSG knocked out Dortmund on Wednesday, all of them
The whole
gathered
team.
together, sat
And did
down
it.
it really hurt them. It was painful. So they had to do it back. It was a Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Simeone
50-50,
situation.
no cheating.
Yeah, you do me, I do you. God no go vex.
Wow. Special thanks to you, Tega and Topper, for making this an interesting show. Feel Good Friday is still up. We have a very exciting conversation that's coming up next for Lagos Talks 981 for a Feel Good Friday. Stay with us. Smooth 98.1.
Lakumi, you can turn off the video now. I want to beg.